Hello everyone, my name is Ellis Owens, and I want to talk about something today. I got a couple things I want to first say. First about the gameplay is this is a gameplay I got last night, and I gotta say, I think this is my closest Conquest gameplay I've ever had in my life. It was, to be quite honest, intense. I honestly thought this gameplay we were going to lose the match. I was in here with two friends. I didn't know that I had a second friend in here until later on. He was on a different squad, and it was just crazy. To start off, as soon as we get into the game, I didn't realize how quickly. I mean, they start capturing their first objective within the first 50 seconds, and I don't know what was going on. I don't know if our team was slow getting out or what. I did figure out, within the first few minutes, that we come across a kind of a group. I don't know if you call them a clan or a squad or just a group of friends. They all had the similar game tag, and they were quite competitive. I'll say that much. You don't really find a group of guys that are very competitive, and that was something I was kind of shocked to see. And they were pretty good, and I was like, man, you could tell that they communicated, and they communicated with the commander, and I think they had a few other friends in there that they worked with, and it really showed. I didn't realize until right away, and then once I start figuring out, my friend pointed it out. I was like, oh my goodness, because it quickly became evident because that you kill one and the other one would automatically call it out. Hey, I got killed here, I got killed there. So yeah, so this was a very interesting gameplay. I'm not going to tell you if I won or lost or not, and but like I said, we started out already losing. You can tell by the first 3 minutes that we're losing. But I also wanted to talk. In the title, you'll see about the DLC. So we have confirmation that on the 18th, in a few short days, that we are going to see the DLC. Premium is going to get it first for Second Assault, so I'm really excited about that. And I think that's going to be really. I think that's a good thing. We've been waiting a long time for the DLC, and it's finally here. And that's what we've all been wanting. This is all what we've been waiting for, and this is something that's been long overdue. But it's something that DICE promised us a while ago. They had a timeline for putting the DLC out, and they really didn't make it. And now they're starting to come back and do everything right. That I do know that they have mentioned that the DLC after Second Assault, was it Naval Strike, is supposed to come out into March. So the third DLC is supposed to be into March, and we'll see if that's true or not. I'd like to. Hopefully that's true. They said there's going to be new weapons and gadgets. One gadget I'd like them to see they put in, maybe for the engineer, is maybe like a tube-fired torpedo. That would be, I think, very cool or something. Just because the whole fact of the matter is, it'd be something naval. And right here, that was pretty cool. I threw a grenade and detonated their own slams, killed used their own weapons against them, and I thought that was a pretty cool kill. But because it's a naval DLC, and I think it being naval DLC, it's the first DLC we had, they gave us gadgets for support and recon, and then now they're going to give us a DLC for that's naval based, which is play on Titan mode, which is Bad Company 2, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's very cool, but I think that the assault and engineer, it's time for them to get a new gadget, or equipment, because not like I said, the support and recon has now gotten a gadget, and they both got the one that got the UCAV, the other one got the SUAV, and I think it's now, it would be nice for the assault class, they would get something. I'm not sure what they would get. I was sitting there trying to think, what would you give the assault class, because they are assault slash medic. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a stim grenade or something. I don't know if a stim grenade could be possible. I mean, you got the motion sensors that the recon has, so maybe you could throw something out there. They are carry a shotgun and a grenade launcher. So I'm trying to think what else assault class could carry. That would be cool. I mean, I've thought about that. I mean, that's really tough. Obviously, I mean, engineer. I mean, I thought the naval assault. Definitely, you could bring the like a tube fire, a torpedo, and I honestly thought of basically of something based on the like the stingers and the iglas. I mean, make one version like a stinger. You can just fire forget, but it has a shorter range. Make one like an igla where you can have a longer range, but you have to maintain the lock. I think that would be very, very cool. We already know that second assault weapons. There's already a few weapons. F2000, M60. I'm trying to think of the other ones they have. There is no carbine. The Gaul, the MG Gaul, which is a Bad Company 2 weapon. Trying to think what else. But there is no gadgets. I do know that much. There is no grenades or anything like that. So it's just the weapons that they're introducing in there. But I think obviously, if they're gonna, they mentioned about gadgets and stuff, at least for the naval assault, and I think it'd be cool to see the engineers that have a shoulder fired, a shoulder fired out of some type of tube, just like a rocket launcher, but it would be a torpedo, and I think that would be very awesome, and it would give some difference, because I mean think about the engineers. The engineers already have a most of the RPGs are what, anti-vehicle, except for two of them. Now the Iglas and the Stingers, and they're anti-air. Granted that the Javelin can lock on to anti-air if you have a what is it, a SOFLAM or PLD, but I mean that's the only one that needs external support to actually do that. It can be dual purpose, kind of anti-air, but you need a second person to help you out. But other than that, I mean, I think you could provide a basically I wouldn't say a niche gadget, because I mean the anti-airs are still important, but if you have a map that doesn't have anti-air, doesn't have air like locker, and I do know there's going to be a DLC coming later on. I think it's Dragon's Teeth, which is the one after the naval assault, which is supposed to be basically urban warfare, close range, very tight knit, very, very compact. It's it's going to be very similar to Locker and stuff. A lot of urban territories, a lot of close range fighting. Flashlights and flashbangs and stuff. That's where the flashbangs and the flare buffs are really going to start to come in and shine. I really think that them bringing this torpedo concept would be really cool. I think I'm probably the only one that have thought of this, but I mean, anyways, I mean, I gotta say, it would be a very cool idea for them to implement. So, but I'm really looking forward to the end of March and seeing that naval one, because it's going to be different, naval battles and stuff. So I'm going to practice, put some more time into the fast attack aircrafts and stuff. But because I want to really make sure I'm really well skilled in that. So actually getting back to the gameplay, as you see, it's been pretty hectic in this. As you see, I'm going back and forth trying to figure out what to do and what to cut off. Right about now, I should have thrown out a slam, but I pulled out my I forgot I had anti-air. I've been trying to stop the helicopters, which, to be honest, I haven't even shut down a single helicopter. And if you look, we're still losing, even though we're jumping back and forth. I was shocked at how, if you noticed in the gameplay at the beginning, within the first 2 minutes, we had almost at least a squad already on the beginning objective. And it was pretty crazy that we had a squad that soon, that fast, and they had capped the Alpha, and they were already on to Delta, and they already had people capping Bravo and Charlie, and we were just starting to roll. I don't know what happened, but they just like steamrolled us. Very tight game. We had a commander, he left. We had people join, we had left. It was pretty intense. I was really intense. I realized after looking at the footage I made some mistakes. Right here I actually missed I should have thrown the slams a little bit more to the right or left at an angle, and actually try to stuck them on the vehicle, because it was kind of useless because they get blown up. So, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, and I think I was actually a pretty good thing, because I actually led as a distraction, because the tank actually does get taken out. He gets shot in the rear by our own friendly tank, so which is a critical hit. But I mean, this game was very crazy. Probably one thing you guys will notice is I keep referring to the scoreboard, and that was something I kind of do sometimes. And the reason why I do it is there's two reasons. The first one is to see what is my team doing. Who are the top players in my team? And are they getting kills, or are they getting points? Now, if my team is getting if the top players are getting a lot of kills, not a lot of points, then I know that they're being slayers. So that tells me, okay, should I go more objective? I'm by nature an objective player. Or should I go more for killing? If they're getting a lot of points but not a lot of kills, then I might want to start flanking and start trying to kill the other team. That way I can allow my objective players, because objective players sometimes are not the best killing players. I'll tell you right now, I'm better as an objective player, but not as a as a killing player. I have okay gun skills. I consider myself okay gun player, but I consider myself a really good objective player. So I constantly look in here and figure out where I stand and how many points. So that tells you, a good guide. And also, I'm doing it on the flip side. I'm looking at the enemy team. Okay, how many points does it have? Basically each kill is going to give you, 100 points roughly. And so if I look at the guy, he has, 10 kills, that should be about 1,000 points. But if he has 3,000, then I realize he's playing a little bit more objectively. So then I gotta know, okay, their team more objectively? If their team is more objective, then I need to be more of a slayer and slow them down, because that's probably my best bet. Because I need to slow the objective players from capping objectives and draining our tickets. And so you gotta think at that, and that's why it's key to constantly sometimes to check your scoreboard. You don't really realize this when you're checking your scoreboard, but when you check your scoreboard, what this does is this allows you to kind of figure out what your team is doing and what the other team is doing. And so by this, I'm figuring out what is going on, and what what my team is doing, what their team is doing, and I can figure out kind of basis on their players. And a lot of times when I get killed by a player, I'll kind of look at him and figure out what is he doing, and then I can get a rough idea. And that's basically what I'm doing. I don't do this on every game. It depends on how well we're doing on the game, but it just depends on what game type we're playing. Conquest, for certain, I really do this a lot of times after each death. Is I kind of check out the player, look, see what he's doing, and it also depends on what my team is doing and how well we're playing. So that way I can gauge what type of player that person is, and then figure out, like I said, if they're objective or they're more of a slayer. So, because your slayers are not always going to be most objective players. They're going to be out there trying to stop objective players. And then you got your objective players who are going to be more like, capping objectives. Snipers on top of Zavad, they're very much slayers, because what they're doing is trying to slow down the ejecta players getting to ejectas, which can be a good thing. They can also be very pesky, the recon class, but I mean they have to know when to move and when to, you know, find targets, and they have to work with their team. I find sometimes recon classes don't actually use their full potential. They sit on an objective and they don't actually help the team cap it, or sometimes, or they don't help neutralize players while the enemy team is capturing. It's just a downside, but you know they have to be very supportive. And right about, as you see right now, well, I just got killed, and I get revived, but I didn't get, and yeah, I get killed. This was one of the worst revives ever, because I got revived and the guy was behind me, and I didn't really know that, but that happens. But this is right where we had what I call the turning point of the war, because at this point in stage, and I know this is a long commentary, and I actually don't know what happened here. I get a multi-kill for this, but the C4 killed me, and sometimes I've been that close and the C4's not killed me, and sometimes it does. I think it's because the vehicle exploded, but at this point, if you notice, we actually start capturing all 4 objectives. So I think this was the breaking point of the camels on the straw, and I found that out, and I thought that was kind of interesting that we actually started doing that. For some reason we pushed the team back far enough that they start, I don't know what happened, they started to break up, and it was kind of interesting that they did that, and it was, I don't know what happened. They started losing momentum. I don't know what we were doing, but we broke their momentum. Right here on Alpha, me and my PC friend, I played some PC games with him. We were on Alpha. Each of us kept dying and then respawning each other right before the other person died. And I kind of go on a killing frenzy right about now. And I'm playing what I call my hunter class in Recon. And I'm going to probably be doing a video about it if you guys are really interested in it. I thought about doing one, and then I kind of debated. I have basically 2 different ways of setting it up, but I find this class that I set up with my Recon, it's basically it's most stealthiest class, but it's also the way I can actually find people the most. I actually hunt them out, and it just works really great. It works great on almost any game mode, I found out, because it's just, I don't know, it hunts people out really, really well. It's one of my favorite classes to run now. I created it, and then I didn't realize how fun it is, because I find people so fast this way, and I can take them down. And right here, actually, I knew that guy right there, the crow. He was actually one of the guys that actually communicated. So I knew I had to, jump down from that building, because the other guy was going to come upstairs. So I know I had to do some crazy flanking. And sometimes you have to do that. If you know the other team is communicating or something, you got to flank. And I mean, I knew I had a commander in the other team, so I knew I'm just going to double back and stuff. And I didn't realize that guy was there. He spawned in, and it kind of caught me off guard. So, and that happens. And but that's just the name of the game. And right now, as you guys see it, we're for some reason up ahead. While me and my friend were on A, our team was able to hold enough objectives and stuff. We were able to turn the tide of the war, and that's what sometimes it takes. And I don't know what happened to the enemy team. Something went wrong. I mean, like I said, in the beginning, I noticed that we were losing teammates. They kept coming in and out. We had a commander come in for about 30 seconds and he left. I noticed it in the start menu, and then everyone started to leave. And it wasn't until later on that I actually realized that we were going to win this match. But I mean, that's what happens. Some tips on playing Conquest, and if you don't know this, always hold your objective that's nearest to your base. Now for us that is D. Now it depends on some maps. You don't have an objective that's nearby your base, but I recommend that, because what that does, it doesn't constantly drain your tickets. that at least prevents you from draining at least some of your tickets, and at least drains at least one of their tickets per, I think it's every 5 seconds. It's 5 or 10. And that way it kind of keeps you in balance. And you don't always have to kind of, press away from them. I like to call it the person who's always guarding the very base objective. I always call them the goalie, because they're defending the most important objective, because that's the one that's the most important. And if you can defend the one that's most important by your home base, then you're not draining the most, I would say, the basic of tickets. It's also probably the one that most teams always push for, and it's the smartest. You always want a person always pushing for it. Usually when we play, when I always play together, we always have one person push for the enemy's base. We always call them the anchor. And then we always have one person, like I said, the goalie. They defend our base. That way we're never losing at least one ticket. We're always gaining one ticket. Like right now, all objectives are down except for our base. So we're at least taking away one ticket. Even though we're ahead, we're still pushing forward from that base, and that gives us at least a cushion. At least we're not going to a huge deficit, and that's a very, very smart move. I know that they're going to be pushing on D, but at least most of our team can at least concentrate on B and C, and not on D. And that way you can concentrate on D, and allow the rest of your team concentrate on the main objectives and stuff. And it seems to work really well. We've tried this over and over. I have with a couple of my friends and several other people, and it just seems to work really well. You always there's only been a few times that it's not worked, and it's only, I think, because we might have had a commander or we've had bad teammates. But for the most part, you'll find out it has a very good success rate. You have one person defend the main objective, and then everyone else kind of goes for, I have one person go for alpha, and then have the rest float between B and A. And if you need to, you might have one or two people have to hang back and help the person at D if it becomes if they're really pushing hard, for your whatever the objective closest to your spawn, your default spawn. But I mean, trying to wrap this up. Trying to think what else. There's not really much else I can think of. There was a kill later on. I think I got. It was pretty cool. I planted a C4 on a vehicle, and as I was driving by, I think that was later on in the footage. But I mean, I can't think of much else. But I think I'm just gonna let the gameplay roll on. You guys will see that C4 footage as the vehicle drives by, and I just throw the C4 out. I actually just C4 sticks. I usually don't have those good of C4 like sticks, and I found out I right here became the targeted player, which is, I was kind of surprised because I wasn't the highest ranking, but for some reason I was doing enough killing that was frustrating the teammates, so they made me the one that I need to be obviously targeted the most. So I mean, that's how it went. But anyways, yeah, as you see, I'm only third. So yeah, I don't know what I was doing, but I was really making some people very annoyed. It's probably because I was flanking so much. So, and ironically, not too many people were pushing on me when I was the high value target. I actually was still just doing work. But other than that, that's really all I got to say. So I hope you guys just enjoy the rest of the gameplay. If you guys if you guys like it, leave a comment, and If you would, if you're new to my channel, subscribe. I got more content coming out, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.
I have eyes on an enemy helicopter west of where you are. We have lost objective Bravo. Fix yourself up for this! Come on! Our network just got hacked. Comms are going down briefly.
I spotted a hostile soldier.
Listen up. Objective Charlie is now neutralized.